Welcome to the Magic We Have at Home podcast. I am your host and current gameplay champion, Bjorn. I'm joined by my co-host, Ren.
Oh, hello.
And today, Bear could not be with us. He's traveling overseas. So instead, we have brought on a friend of mine. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Shalom. Hello, I'm Noah. I'm friend of Bjorn. Noah, friend of Bjorn. Full title.
There we go. Noah runs a YouTube channel. Do you want to tell him about that real quick?
True. I am a bit of a YouTuber as well. I have a channel called Christian Scrub where I live stream and play games with friends most of the time, and it's fun goofs. That's it. Fun goofs.
There we go. You got it. Fun goofs. All right. So we've brought Noah on to replace Bear for this week. Bear will be joining us for gameplay. We don't know what he's going to play yet. So that's going to be a surprise for all of us.
A true wild card.
Anyway, shall we get started? Would either of you guys like to talk about your deck first?
I do not.
You do not want to talk about yours first. Sounds like you're up, Ren.
Yeah, sounds like I am. So today my morning went very different than I had expected it to. So there I was driving to an airport at 4:30 a.m. And it was blistering rain, and I hydroplaned for about 40 seconds. So it was bad. So while I was there driving, thinking, man, am I going to get to my house in time so that I can make it so that Bjorn doesn't say that I'm late? And
The priorities.
I sped up. So I was thinking, I wanted to play Yasharn beforehand. And then I thought, you know what? No, not this week. That'll be a different week. That'll be a week when I feel like I have more mercy for these people. And I was thinking back to the Final Fantasy set that had just come out, and I really liked it because I really like flip commanders. But I thought, you know what? Might as well just go all in and just try and be a bully. Not a counter magic bully, but an Azorius bully, which is maybe worse. So I've decided to play Absolute Virtue. He's an 8-drop commander. He is a 6 white-blue for a legendary creature avatar warrior. This spell can't be countered. Flying, you have protection from each of your opponents. Then he is an 8/8. Basically, he's a giant beat stick for 8 mana. He gives me some protection, and I like the idea of that because I'm planning to do the opening in 2 weeks. So I don't have many cards, but I do have an idea of how I want the deck to work. I want to really lean into cards like Court of Grace, Court of Cunning to just kind of drain away resources from them at an expedited rate. I want to run an Assault Suit to just kind of bully people. Want to run artifacts like Grafdigger's Cage to add some stacks. And I think probably down the line I'll add an Armageddon in just to keep it flavorful. But
I mean, as you do.
That's my MO. I don't think that there's any problems with this. I just kind of want to play a deck where when it's my turn at least, I'm in absolute command of the board. So I want to run a lot of flyers, creatures with evasion that can just get in, and cards that can just get around problematic cards like enchantments or artifacts that would normally hinder somebody. But with my deck suite, I want to just kind of sneak my way past them and do big damage. The only thing I really said absolutely not to is a card that I personally loathe, and that's Hullbreaker Horror. That card can be taken out of the game.
Oh.
So, just right off the bat, like, you definitely want to, like, you're running some stacks here. And yes. I am curious, like, how much stacks are we talking? Are you wanting to go heavy stacks and lock people out, or are you wanting to just go some soft stacks to slow people down?
I want to lock people out of playing on my turn. I want my turn to just kind of to be a zone where you guys can just be like, all right, I'll come back in 5 minutes with another cup of coffee. I want my turn.
You're gonna take
to be,
5-minute turns?
Well, yeah, I'm playing blue.
A quick 5 minutes.
Yeah, a quick 5 minutes. I mean,
It'll
knowing
be
me,
fun. You guys will be so entertained while you watch me do this.
it'll
Notice.
it'll probably be more like 2 minutes where I'm confused and the lag from my Wi-Fi connection now is just slowly crippling me. I wanna build stacks in a way where it's not like Grand Arbiter Augustine stacks where it's just like, haha, now you pay 1 extra. It's like Grand Abolisher where you guys just don't get to do stuff on my turn.
Are you gonna put Drannith Magistrate in there?
What does that one do again?
Your opponents can't cast spells from anywhere other than their hands.
I absolutely will.
Oh.
Okay. Very interesting.
Fun.
All right, so we're gonna go hard stacks. This will be fun. I've not actually played against like a hard stacks deck that's actually built out.
Are you gonna be running propaganda and Ghostly Prism?
No, because those are cowards' tools, and
Okay,
they only
fair
affect
enough.
me on other people's turns.
It's true. It's true.
The
Okay.
goal is to control my turn enough to where it's a problem for you guys. Like if I could run the cards that are like end or target player may end his turn, I would run that, but that's in red, so I can't.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is
Okay.
this a game changer?
So,
Drannith
okay.
is a game changer.
Which one?
Drannith Magistrate is a game changer.
That's the one that doesn't let people.
Yeah, cast from anywhere other
Cast
than their
commanders,
hands.
yeah.
Why is that a? That should be a game changer.
Because people
Run
throw
Path
fits
to
when they can't
Exile.
cast their commander.
Or just play
I'm-
Eminence.
I'm with you on that one. Another card that I've been hearing a lot about for stacks is Humility.
Oh, humility is great. I
It's
love
just
humility.
Each creature loses all abilities and is a 1/1 creature.
So
That's
how
just
does
like
that
what
It's
advance
45.
my
That's also
board
a game
state?
changer.
How does that advance my board state?
So that is actually like I think probably if you're running stacks, I say this running. I have one deck that I would consider stacks, but it's light stacks. The thing with stacks that I've always heard is that you have to have some way to break parity. Like you introduce these new rules, you make it really hard for everyone to play the game, and then you have to come up with some way to like use that to your advantage and or like if you make a lock on the game, you have to have a way to break the lock. So I'm curious if you have ideas for how you plan on doing that, or is your plan to do that just kill people with commander damage because your commander swings for 8?
My commander does indeed swing for 8. I added an assault suit to give him +2/+2 and haste, and make it so that you guys can get him and have to attack each other on your turns as well.
Oh, I did not read assault suit all the way. I read the +2/2 in haste and then kind of gave up. Okay.
He can't attack me and planeswalkers I control and can't be sacked. And at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, I can have them gain control of it. Basically, a 10/10 flyer will be coming at you. And
From multiple angles.
Yeah.
So in white blue,
Mhm.
what's your plan for ramping? You got an 8-cost commander. How are you going to get him out?
I'm hoping to build the deck in a way to where he's not necessary to play. Kind of like a Garna thing where like he lands and like, oh, that's your new problem to deal with. But if I don't have to cast him, then like that's fine with me.
That's kind of a bummer to hear, actually, because I was thinking you were going to build around him more, and I had a kind of fun idea for that.
All right, tell me your idea. I don't have many ideas.
Well, since you can't be the target of opponents, I think it would be really fun to the keyword that I'm thinking of is demonstrate. But I think that you could probably find other things that do similar ideas. So demonstrate says when you cast the spell, you can copy it. If you do, choose an opponent to also copy it. Players may choose new targets for their copies. And so I think it would be really funny to just do stuff like that where essentially you give other people spells and you enable your opponents, but you enable them in specific ways where they have to target other people. And you might have to, that might take a little bit of looking on Scryfall because there's only 2 or 3 cards in white and blue with demonstrate. But I think you could maybe find some other things as well. Just enabling other people. If me and Noah have to choose to target one another, I think that would be really funny for you. So that's my fun creative idea for this. But outside of demonstrate, I'm not sure what other cards you could do. Okay, going back to thinking about ramp.
Yes.
Well,
Tell me more.
I kind of think like well, maybe not your 2 options. You could probably do both. Like you could go into an artifact theme and just there's a million artifacts out there that you could run, and then maybe get some artifact synergy. You're already going to be running your equipments. And I see you already have a couple like your stacks pieces are going to have artifacts, or there's a lot of artifact stacks pieces rather is the way to say that.
Yeah.
And you have your assault suit and your Eldrazi monument. So you could do like an artifact sub theme and just run a bunch of artifact ramp, and I think that would work just fine. I do also think it would be fun in white and blue to run like a bunch of catch-up ramp.
Tell me those cards. I will run them all because you're an evangelist when it comes to this. So tell me more.
Tell you more about
catch-up ramp. Yes.
Catch-up ramp,
yeah.
Okay. So the card that actually put me onto Catch-up Ramp was Archaeomancer's map. I packed that like right when I started playing.
It's only $4.
So Archaeomancer's map is a 3-cost artifact, 2 and a white. When it enters, you search your library for up to 2 basic plains cards, reveal them, put them in your hand. Whenever a land enters under the battlefield under an opponent's control, if they control more lands than you, you may put a land from your hand onto the battlefield. So that one's great. Every time an opponent plays a land, so if you're playing like when I play this, if you're playing at a table with a green player, as long as you have lands in your hand, you will get to play them. The other really nice thing is that it specifies you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. You don't have to put a basic land. So yeah, you get to fill your hand with 2 plains, which is nice because you won't miss land drops for a couple turns. But also, if you have some uncommon lands, you can just put those in as well. And they don't enter tapped either. So that one's a really, really good card. And then white just has a ton of stuff like that. Knight of the White Orchid.
I was going to say Knight of the White Orchid is great. Mm-hmm. I mean, especially for like getting a body so that you can get to your 8 mana. You just get dudes out who can also benefit you.
Yeah, he's a good little blocker too.
Yeah, he's first strike.
Keeper of the Accord is one of my personal favorites. He's a little more spendy. He's a 3 or a 4-cost 3 and a white. But he does catch-up ramp with lands. So at the beginning of each opponent's end step, if they control more lands than you, you may search your library for a basic plains card and put it on the battlefield. But he also has, if they control more creatures than you, you get to make a 1/1 white soldier.
You've played this guy against me. This guy drives me up a wall.
Yeah, it's great. So isn't that what you want to do though?
That is a little bit.
Drive other people up the wall. This is your revenge game for me rushing you to get back for your podcast. So there's a lot you could do with catch-up ramp. You can also do bounce lands if you really want to min-max it. I've been thinking about trying and min-maxing my mono white deck for catch-up ramp, but you can run like bounce lands. You know, those ones that you play them and it returns a land to your hand. Because then you have 1 less land on the battlefield, so you're more likely to hit your catch-up ramp. And then there's lands that when they enter, you sacrifice lands. So that could all be pretty fun. Noah, do you have anything you want to add on Ren's deck real quick while I look this up?
For ramp, no, but I have to ask this.
Yeah,
I have to suggest this because you are playing white. It's the most important thing ever. I have to ask any white player is, have you thought about pacifism? I know you said you don't want to play control, but a little bit of pacifism, a little bit here and there is good for the soul, I might say.
Oh yeah,
it's also a virtue.
I can put that in.
Yes. See, pacifism is one of my favorite types of removal because it doesn't remove, it's on the board, and there's some fun ones that do shut off abilities, like arrest and stuff like that. That are technically better than pacifism.
I can add one of my own favorite stacks cards, Curse of Exhaustion, and I'll make sure that if I get it, I'll play it on you. That's also a form of removal, I would say, where it removes the fun from somebody's deck.
Another really fun white stacks piece is Curse of Conformity. Holy cow! It's non-legendary creatures enchanted player controls have base power and toughness 3/3 and lose all creature types. So you can just turn someone's whole board into a bunch of 3/3s. It's very effective against like people playing really, really big creatures.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also fun if you fill your board with little creatures, because then it's just turns all your creatures into 3/3s. Oh, I was gonna say the swords actually fit.
I was gonna say the sword of the one that lets you ramp wouldn't be a bad one for early game.
Hearth and
to
Home.
get you- Yeah.
Yeah, it also does just fit the theme a bit of giving yourself protection from everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But that is
That being said,
that is a $21 card.
hey, that's like
One of the cheap
a
ones.
coffee.
One of the
know?
that's like a coffee.
That's half of a quad
Jeez.
shot.
If you would just not, if you just stopped eating all your avocado toast and drinking your iced coffees, you would be able to afford all the Swords of X.
My goodness.
X
You
and Y
think-
really
you think-
quick.
You think I buy toast? I buy food once a week, and then I'm hungry for the rest of the week.
Put off that
figured
week.
it
You
out.
always
more
struck me
times.
as an avocado toast guy.
I'm not. I'm more of a like.
just don't eat for a couple weeks.
Oh yeah, I could do that.
You do
tempt
you'd
me.
be a great starving artist.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, I'd be so. What is it called?
Um,
So burdened.
Oh, so the ramp card that I wanted to suggest is Dreamscape Artist. I run this in the Damia deck that I built here a couple weeks ago. Which, by the way, I ordered the cards for that, so I have it all in paper now, and it's so much fun. I'm so happy with the changes I made on that. But Dreamscape Artist, it's 1 in a blue, and then its activated ability is pay 2 in a blue, tap, discard a card, sacrifice a land, search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, put them on the battlefield, then shuffle your library. So essentially what it does is it's a creature that can change any card in your hand into Harrow. That's the way I like to think about it. It just gives you access to 1 Harrow every turn. Because
Okay.
like if you had a Harrow in your hand and you play it, that's the same as discarding a card. So essentially you can just exchange any card in your hand for a Harrow, and it does put the lands onto the battlefield untapped. But I played my Damia deck, and I got Dreamscape Artist out on turn 2, and oh my gosh, it is like just the value to get that out in ramp early game is so much. I had Damia out, I think turn 4. No, it might have been turn 5, but she's a 7-cost commander. And just getting to like pitch a card and put 2 more lands on the battlefield every single turn is so good. So very good card. I would suggest that if you were going into the just as a way to ramp in blue. It's a blue card. It's like the weirdest thing. It feels like the least blue type of ability. Noah, do you have any closing thoughts on this?
The only thing would be I don't know what small creatures, like what early game stuff you would be putting out creature wise to mid.
At first, I was like, "Oh, S%, $55." So I'll probably be running creatures kind of like Blighted Agent,
Okay.
just to get in some early damage. Blighted Agent is Infect, but like whatever. It's a 1/1 unblockable. So just a couple of those. Maybe some like 2-cost flyers, birds if possible.
So you're just going to kind of do... you just want... Yeah, that's when you're going to get your evasive guys out.
Yeah.
Have you thought about Thieving Skydiver?
No, what is that?
Is a 2-cost 2/1 with flying, and he has Kicker X. When he enters the battlefield, if it's kicked, gain control of target artifact with mana value X or less. If it's an equipment, attach it to Thieving Skydiver.
Oh, very nice. Are we running Soul Rings?
Early game, I was gonna say early game, you could pay 1 and steal someone's Soul Ring.
Oh, we don't play those.
Could.
Yeah, no, Ren and I aren't playing with Soul Rings, so if you bring a Soul Ring on, it might get stolen.
Or counterspell.
But yeah, you could steal somebody's ramp early game, or you could steal some equipment to throw onto Absolute Virtue later in the game. So it's also just a 2/1 with flying for 2 mana. So even if you just want a body out on the board with flying because you need to swing something at somebody in a little bit, that works too. But it just gives you that option to steal. Noah, did you want to go second, or did you want me to go second?
You go second.
You want to go last.
Yeah.
He's making the deck as we're doing this. He's like, what do I put in there?
I guess I won't.
We gave him 5 minutes heads up for this. That was my only plan. My deck just was called Soul Ring.
That's all I can think of.
My only thing I had in there.
Soul
All right.
Ring and 20 lands.
One of my favorite things to do, we have a very small card store in the town that I live in, and they just like keep pretty much all of their cards on display. They sell mostly like just Magic cards, and so you can walk in and there's just this counter with all of their cards on display, and you can like look through all their boxes and stuff. And one of my favorite things to do is just go down and like just look through all of these random cards, because they'll have boxes that are essentially sort of like just rares, and it's just like all rares for like $1, or a bunch of like mythics, and they're all priced from like $1 to $5 or then $5 to $10. So it's kind of fun to just go look through. That's where I found some of my favorite cards, is just looking through this random stuff at my card store. And one of the cards that I found a long time ago that I bought immediately, and then have never put into a deck because I don't know how to play with it, is Axis of Immortality. Or sorry, I think it's Axis of Mortality. Excuse me. Axis of Mortality is an enchantment. It costs 4 white. And it says at the beginning of your upkeep, you may have 2 target players exchange life totals.
Ooh.
And I just saw that and thought it was a really funny card and bought it. But I've had it in my collection for probably close to 3 years now. And I've never put it in a deck because it doesn't seem like the kind of deck that you can just, or this kind of card to just like put in a deck randomly. I think you have to build around it. And so this week I would like to build around Axis of Mortality. I want to switch people's life totals. And I think my plan for this is to drain my life as low as possible and then switch my life total with my opponents on upkeep. Ideally get them low enough to where I can then just like ping them or do some sort of direct damage on my turn and kill them. So it is going to be kind of going more for a combo-y feel. I might classify this as like a doomsday device where I'm going to try to put out my parts sort of one at a time and try to protect them. And then once I assemble the machine, I'm able to instant kill people. That's sort of the plan I'm going for. Yeah. So what are your thoughts? Let's hear some opening thoughts.
To target players? You shouldn't have.
I'm going to have to run so much extra removal just to make sure that this deck can play.
Okay, I have a great solution. Because it's Commander.
Okay, go for it.
Life gain, but also life gain that's not just to you, but also to other people. So you can benefit it as a, hey, let me help you out, bud. Life gain. But long con.
Oh, we're getting hit by
health.
all these flyers, but
yeah, but long con, you switch health on them.
I like that. What I can't think of any cards off the top of my head that allow like an opponent to gain a life. Do you know any? Is there a card you're thinking
I'm trying to think of it. I'm pretty sure there's some that are like similar to Secret Rendezvous, where that one has both players draw a card. They both gain life. I can't think of it, but you could also do it maybe by an interesting way is by like food tokens, where everybody gets food tokens, and then you can save the food tokens in case you get a little bit too low and you need to pop them to sustain, or your opponent slowly gains life. But off the top of my head, I cannot think of some. But I'm pretty sure there's some that are like target player gains life from a creature effect.
Yeah, I'm looking it up. I did.
There's Imperious Charity. Is the one
There's
I can.
What?
Oh, never mind. It's not a real card. Gosh dang it.
No.
All these fake cards on the internet. It's like, oh, this is such a cool idea. And then
never gets old.
So one of the things though, I mean, just before we get just too far scrolling Scryfall and not finding anything, I don't really have a commander for this. The only commander that I've really found that I thought would work okay is it's Gen, Arcanum Weaver. He's Mardu. So, and then he's just a 2/3, and his ability is pay Mardu, tap him, sacrifice an enchantment, return target enchantment from your graveyard to the battlefield. I thought that would be nice just to have for a couple different reasons. I think one, it gives me a little bit of protection if the Axis of Mortality gets killed. I can bring it back from the graveyard. It also allows me to use red has a lot of impulse draw, so I can run a lot of impulse draw and discard, draw and discard, draw and discard, and just cycle through stuff. And this allows me essentially to sort of cheat it out. If I discard Axis of Mortality, I can then return it to the battlefield, and then I can also get value out of my graveyard. And I know black actually has a lot of tutors that tutor things into your graveyard, so if I decide I want to go into the tutor route, he gives me options for that too. So that's kind of where I'm leaning. I like the color scheme as well, because black has a lot of creatures that let you pay life, so that you can essentially. So like, let me.
The classic pay to life draw card.
Oh,
Yeah,
Greed.
just anything like that.
You gotta play Greed.
Oh, here's War and Soul Trader, which this one has shot up in price a lot. It's $18. I bought this one, I think earlier this year. This is in my Sauron deck, and it was, I think like $7 or $8 at the point. I didn't realize how expensive it had gotten. But it's pay 1 life, sacrifice a creature, create a treasure token, so I can turn my life into treasures. But there's just a lot of cards that let you pay life. I feel like I had examples of ones that let you pay life at instant speed, and like any amount of life, but maybe I didn't. But the idea would be, pay a bunch of life right at the beginning of the turn, and then.
So the moment you mentioned this card, I thought of one of the commanders that I had been thinking of building a deck for this for, just because I don't know how much I would like playing an enchantments deck, just because it seems more controlly. Have you considered Archidekt of the Charmed Apple? She's 1 in Orzhov. She's the aura commander from Wilds of Eldraine. Each creature that's enchanted by an aura you control can't attack you or planeswalkers you control. And then the important part, at the beginning of your end step, each opponent loses X life and you gain X life, where X is the number of auras you control. So with Archidekt out, you could exchange your life total for somebody, like if you're lower, and then you could just kind of kill them on end step with Archidekt with auras.
That's
I had not considered that.
That's my auras commander.
Yes, I think I actually have definitely played against
It's great.
that one. I guess I don't know, and this is my thing, and this is where Gen is too. I don't know if I actually want to go hardcore into enchantments. Like the only reason I'm thinking about going into enchantments is because Axis of Mortality is an enchantment, but I don't know if I actually like have to play enchantments to play with it, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a lot of big creatures that let you pay life for stuff.
Right.
And so I could look up like I could get some enchantment synergies with them, but part of me kind of wonders if this is just kind of like a beatdown deck for a bit. Like there's Indulgent Tormentor is a 5/3 with flyer. At the beginning of your upkeep, you can draw a card unless target opponent sacrifices a creature or pays 3 life. Eye of the Duskmantle is a 3/8 with flying life link. You can play lands and spells from among cards in your graveyard, and then you can pay life for them. Erebos the Bleak-Hearted is a 5/6. You got Doom Whisper is a 6/6. Demon of Fate's Design is a 6/6. Demon of Death's Gate is a 9/9. I kind of wonder if I should just be playing like Flample at this point. Just seeing some of these creatures, like a lot of the creatures that have these pay life abilities are really, really big already. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely just go like, hey, I'm going to be the biggest threat, so everybody has to fight me, and then once I get low, I just swap.
Like, just use Axis of Mortality almost as like a backup plan.
Yeah, as like, okay, if things get hairy, then I have a little switcheroo that'll save me, which isn't as fun, but it is like an option you could probably go for. I did find 2 cards that would be kind of interesting for white for you. The first one is Condemned. This is like the put target attacking creature on the bottom of its owner's library. Its controller gains life equal to its toughness. So that's one of those where it's like, hey, if you want to be like, hey, heal them up to switch with them, and then it's a little protection for you for only 1 mana. It's kind of sick as it.
What was that one called?
Condemned. So like that's would be a good like little protection to keep you alive from dying, but also it gains someone's health that you could switch with.
Yeah, I like that.
Another one is Flare or Fortitude. It costs 4, so it's 2 and 2 white, and it says you may sack a non-token white creature rather than pay this spell's mana cost. Till the end of the turn, your life total can't change, and permanents you control gain hexproof and indestructible. This is one of those just in case you get a little bit too low, just to make sure you don't actually die. Because people are going to see that low health and might just go for it.
How does that... Actually, I am curious. What does that help... Like, what... Wow. How does that interact with the Axis of Immortality ability? Like, does that just say, like, I can't target myself with it, essentially? Or would it be, like,
your total
my
can't
life
change.
Total, but my life total's...
Yeah, I don't know how it would work against giving it to someone else. It just sounds like yours just wouldn't go. It might mean you just might not be able to do the effect like in the first place. But I'm not. I don't know.
What are you asking in particular? I had
Ren
my
is
mic
usually
muted, and I
our
was
rules
talking to
lawyer.
I was talking to the void because my mic was muted.
Oh
I
no!
increased
I was
the
wondering
gain.
where you went.
Picking up everything. It's like every car that drives by. Like, sorry, they're like in my yard apparently.
That's okay.
So we're talking about.
I haven't heard anything on my end from you.
We're talking about Flare of Fortitude. So you may sack a non-token white creature rather than pay the spell's cost. And it says, until end of turn, your life total can't change, and permanents you control gain hexproof and indestructible. So we're wondering how that works with the swapping life totals. Because what does it say specifically?
Exchange.
Yeah, exchange, which does count as life loss and life gain.
So I would assume it doesn't work.
Like you just can't. I couldn't target myself with it.
You can target yourself, but it wouldn't change, would it?
Yeah, but would it
Because
change
yours-
your opponent? Yours wouldn't change. The question would be your opponent. Would your opponents then get your life total, but you stay the same life total?
I would say no, because both sides can't participate in the exchange.
Doesn't
So
get the full effect. That's what I figured.
yeah, it can't be done because it's like the destroy 6 creatures. If one of them dies before the spell goes off, the rest of it fizzles because it's not meeting all of its target requirements. It's like
sense.
the spell on our last game when you tried to change the target of Storvald's ability, and it was it targets 2 things.
Yeah.
So it's not a single target.
What do you guys think about? I know I put this in the idea share as I don't want to run this as mono white, but I'm kind of thinking it might be kind of fun to run it mono white now.
Yes.
The card that makes me think that is Evra Halcyon Witness. She's a 4/4 avatar. She costs 6. She has lifelink, and then she has pay 4, exchange your life total with Evra Halcyon Witness's power. So what that would allow me to do, you can do that at instant speed. So I could, like essentially at upkeep in response to the Axis of Mortality trigger,
Go down
set my life total to 4,
and then switch for somebody.
have a yeah.
Oh my
Yeah, exactly.
goodness.
I think that could
That
be
is
pretty
fun.
funny. And that is, I think, kind of what I was like. I have her in the deck. I don't know what I could do in mono white. I don't know like how I would drain. I don't know. I don't know what else I would do besides that combo. I guess like that's 90 or that's 2 cards, but then there's 98 other cards I need to put in the deck. So if I was to go into mono white, do you guys have any ideas for that?
Not for getting your life total low now.
Do you think I just go like hardcore life gain?
I would go
That's
hard.
kind of boring.
You could go. Well, you could do hardcore life gain, but you use it as a bargaining chip. So you tell someone like, "Hey, don't hurt me, protect me, and I'm gonna buff up my life and give you the life." That's an interesting way to change the dynamic.
Hey, you want
So-
600 life?
So instead of switching life on that one combo, just constantly switch life. Make it confusing where it's like, wait, who's at what health? And just constantly switch life with people. Make it not make sense because like if you do it early mid game, you're not close enough to where you'll get killed for or get punished for switching down to like 20 health. Like you should be able to live by the time you could switch again. And so just throw off the board state of like, wait, who is almost dead? I think that could be a fun way to do it. And then you have a bunch of life gain.
Sorry, Red. I
just in
can't
case you're
target
about to
you.
die.
Dang it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also have a good
I don't know,
solution for this shenanigans. It's called Cloudsteel Kieran. This is just a little safeguard.
Oh, yes.
You're going to need your safeguards for this silly shenanigan. As always, Cloudsteel.
This card is... Go ahead.
This card is annoying.
Go ahead, you read it, yeah.
Yeah. It's a artifact creature equipment. Kieran, flying. Equipped creature has flying, and you can't lose the game, and your opponents can't win the game. So it's very weird. But it kind of keeps you alive, and then worst case scenario, you have a blocker. You could kind of, I don't know, kill it if you need to, and then go for the combo. It's a little weird, but I think having these little safeguards so that you can be a little bit more risky with like shenanigans might be worth it.
So there is actually, I know that you can combo this, so I might actually put Cloudsteel Kieran in here. Because I could combo this essentially if I have a creature equipped with Cloudsteel Kieran, what I could do is then somehow drop my life below 0 and then exchange it with somebody else, because I could have it below 0 and not be able to lose the game.
Yeah.
So then that would actually make it into a one-shot ability. I would just need some way I could pay all of my life at instant speed, which I'm fairly certain I can do.
Necropotence?
So we're running a lot of game changers this week.
Yeah.
So I'm adding a cyclonic rift. I swear. Just trust me. It'll be fine.
Hey, rule 0, guys. Can I put a cyclonic rift in my mono white deck? Is that cool with you? It's for flavor.
It's for flavor.
It's a flavor pick.
Okay, last thing is, obviously the biggest flaw with your deck is infect / commander damage. That's going to be your biggest weakness, because you can
don't have to worry about that.
switch life all you want, but you know, as a Voltron player myself, I don't care. You can keep gaining life.
I can't tell you how many times I used to run a life gain deck. It was actually the very first deck I ever built was a life gain deck, and the amount of times I got my life total super high and felt really good about it, and then just got one shot by someone's commander. And not people who are running Voltron. It's just like, I don't know. People just have random spells, or like it's like, oh well, I'm doing a 1/1 counters deck, and so my commander has 15 1/1 counters on it. I'm gonna swing it at you. Or my commander has double strike, or, city on fire and my damage is tripled. Just stuff like that. It happens all the time. I really actually don't expect life. At this point, life total means nothing to me.
I have another fun shenanigan. To incentivize, so this is how you lose life in mono white. This is how you do it. You become the threat. You make it so that you have too many good things that if you have high life total, you like Felidar Sovereign. He's a 6-cost cat beast, vigilance lifelink that says at the beginning of your upkeep, if you have 40 or more life, you win the game. Make them hit you. Make them not allow you to stay high life total, and then you switch somehow. Or what's it called? Isn't it an activate ability for your... Yeah, so pay 4, activate.
No, it's upkeep.
Well, no.
It's an upkeep. Oh, yeah.
You wait till your
Witness,
upkeep,
yes.
and then you switch life totals.
So
as a little
if we
alternative win con shenanigans.
If we want to kind of go off that, you could spend a fourth of your budget on Sarah Ascendant. It's only $43 right now, so it's a steal. I should have bought that when it was $20.
That one's gone up in price a lot too.
Yeah, it used to be $20.
My sister-in-law plays a life gain deck. Like she has 3 decks, and her favorite one is a life gain deck. And I swear, like her brother got her Sarah Ascendant a long time ago. She's had this deck for ages. I swear she draws it in every opening hand. It's so frustrating. Just being like, oh, I guess I'll take 6 damage turn 2, and I'll take it again turn 3 and turn 4 until I can get a flyer out or I draw a removal spell. It is every time with that card. So we have about a minute left on my deck. I am just curious. Do I just run tutors to make sure I get out access of mortality? Like, if that's going to be my gameplay plan A, should I just run a bunch of tutors to make sure I find it?
Yes. If you're not also if your commander's not going to be the creature version of it, then yes. I mean, you should either way.
Yeah.
And
well, that's because I have also been thinking about that, because there's Mr. Negative that I could run as a commander who does essentially the same thing. And
I would say my last suggestion to help the deck, because I just pointed out that, hey, you're going to have a problem with commander damage and what's it called? Infect, but I didn't give a solution to the problem. I would say...
Oh, yeah, go for it.
Good solution is just tokens. That would be my...
Like just a lot of little weenies to block with.
And like, if you're going to be more on white side, I mean, you might not be, but if you are, there's obviously like angels and stuff like that you can make that are like, okay, you got flying blockers and shenanigans like that. If you want to go that route. But yeah, I think tokens might be the best way to kind of make sure you don't die by infect. Make sure you take the damage you want to take, but not lose the one you want.
I don't know. I'm not sure where I'm going to go with this one yet. I have a lot to think about now. So I appreciate it. Noah, it's your turn.
All right.
Tell us about your deck.
All right. Well, first off, we almost... Oh, my goodness. We almost had the same commander.
Well, it makes sense that you also would choose Gen because you also want to get out like a very specific enchantment and build around it. So I kind of like that our minds thought very similar, and we're like, we should just run this guy, get it in our graveyard, and then recur it. But tell them about your enchantment that you want to run.
I want to play the best enchantment besides pacifism ever. It's called
Amphibian Downpour?
Oh. No, better. Possibility Storm.
No.
Possibility Storm is my commander today. I'm a little hurt that and I are both. I mean Bjorn, my bad. Can't censor that.
Ooh.
Bjorn and I are both playing a weird, not a legendary creature commander, but like I want this to be my commander actually. Possibility Storm, it's an amazing card. What do I need to say but the truth? And that this game, sometimes you need something to shake up the game that makes you play a whole different game, and Possibility Storm does that. It just says, hey, we're playing a different game now. And normally when I've played this before, I like doing the full-on chaos route of, no, my deck is not built to get advantage of this. We're both playing the same game. Let's see who wins when it comes to Possibility Storm. I need to read the card.
So, first, for the record, I was going to say Possibility Storm it's a red enchantment, 3 red, and it says, whenever a player casts a spell from his or her hand, that player exiles it. Then exiles cards from the top of his or her library until he or she exiles a card that shares a card type with it. That player may cast that card without paying its mana cost. Then he or she puts all cards exiled with Possibility Storm on the bottom of his or her library in a random order.
Yes.
So... I thought it was really funny when you texted me and said you want to run Possibility Storm the deck. I think this is the only card that I've like just fully and openly bashed on this podcast. And it was also, it felt very providential that you did this. I was watching a Trinket Mage video earlier this week, and he said something along the lines of like, I very specifically will never say that I hate a card because I don't even remember his reasoning. It was fine. Like, he was just like, you're allowed to have your different things that you like doing or don't like doing, and that's fine. But he's like, I really try hard not to say like I hate cards. And I was like, oh man, I was talking just like last week about how much I hate Possibility Storm. Like, maybe I should rethink that. And then you texted and were like, I want to run Possibility Storm the deck. So this is going to be a big growth moment for me.
Yeah.
Because now I have to think about, I've spent the week thinking about how do I make Possibility Storm a card that I wouldn't hate playing against.
Nevermore.
I'm going to prove that's fun. Okay, that's the thing. Here's the thing. I'm not going to build it in a gross way. That's my biggest down. Like, I don't like crazy control. I don't like gross gameplay. I like the randomness, the craziness. And so while there's like easy go-to as commanders, as in like, okay, what's the slot in commander? Like I've tried building this in the past a little bit with like Nira Wild Mage, which basically does a very similar effect, but just for me. It's kind of similar to Cascade. Cascade cares about the cost, while Possibility Storm obviously cares about the card type, which is a big difference. But I mean, there's some easy ways to play around this, to build a deck around this, called going crazy with the gambling of you just have a weird curve of a lot of low cost things to very big cost things. So while my opponents have a normal curve of like, hey, I'm going to play down a 3 cost and maybe get a 2 cost, 3 cost, 4 cost, 5 cost, I'm going to play down a 1 cost and maybe get like a 6 cost. It's kind of like the fun high roll, obviously, of the deck. Obviously, the better part that is very frustrating for your opponents is it disrupts them. So while originally I was thinking, okay, I'm going to have to build some like control, some ways to protect this. And like, I do think I'm going to have some recursion in this for getting enchantments back. That's why Bjorn and I almost had the same commander, because I wasn't sure what the commander to run. So I thought about doing the, what's it called? The Gen Arkham Weaver. I don't know if you actually mentioned him, but you were thinking about him just because he's a good way to like, okay, I just sack a enchantment and then get this back on the field. And it's like, okay, that's an easy way for me to do that in case it gets removed. But I think I eventually found the commander I'm thinking about, but I'm still not fully committed. It's Rocco Street Chef. He's red, green, white, 2/4 elf druid. With at the beginning of your end step, each player exiles the top card of their library until your next end step. Each player may play that card they exiled this way, and then whenever a player plays a land from exiled or casts a spell from exile, you may put a 1/1 counter on a target creature and create a food token. So my biggest problem with trying to find a commander that would really support the strategy is obviously, as kind of mentioned towards the end, is you got to find the card. So it's like, since this isn't my leader, I don't have the commands out, I got to find Possibility Storm. So obviously I'm planning on having tutors. That's why I was kind of hoping to be in like Mardu colors at first, because black has some good tutors and white has solid tutors for enchantments. And so I was like, okay, maybe I could do that. But with these colors, I mean, I still got white. So I got like Enlightened Tutor, but that's a ridiculously costing card. But like the idea is like, okay, at the very least, I want a commander I can play out early that can go through my deck as soon as possible. And this allows me to do it with this impulse draw basically. And then it also has this late game of like, oh, it actually synergizes with my card Possibility Storm by if my opponent's plays Possibility Storm plays into it, I get benefits from it. Also, I also get benefits from it, which is kind of interesting. And also, it's a card I haven't seen yet, so that makes me want to play it even more. Because I haven't seen other people play it. I haven't played with it.
I actually have a different commander that I've been thinking about you playing all week.
Okay.
So I hear that you're very into this, but I have a better. I shouldn't say I have a better. I have a pitch for you.
Okay.
So keep an open mind.
Okay.
Loot the key to everything.
No, wait. Which
is
loot is
Teamer. So he's green, blue, red. 1/2 with ward 1. At the beginning of your upkeep, you exile the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of card types among other non-land permanents you control. You may play those cards this turn. So the idea with this is that you play a bunch of different types of non-land permanents. So essentially you want like creatures, enchantments, artifacts, battles. Those are the main 4. Am I missing one? Planeswalkers. So if you have a creature, an artifact, and an enchantment out on the board, every turn you exile 3 cards from the top of your library, and you can cast those cards this turn. The reason that I think that this pairs really well with Possibility Storm is that Possibility Storm specifies casting from hand.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And these cards are cast from exile. So this is essentially your parity breaker. Because that's kind of how I started thinking about Possibility Storm. It's essentially a stacks piece.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, you put this parity out, and then you have like, how do you break it? And my idea for that was that you break it by casting your stuff from exile. So this would allow you to have a hand that you can play from, and you're like, okay, like I have cards that I can cast where I know if I cast them, I will actually get that effect. And then I can also just cast cards from my hand to just kind of like roll the dice. So you kind of get to choose both. But it just gives you like a little bit like, it's not going to make anything perfect for you by any means. But it's just going to increase the odds that you actually get a card out that you really like. So I think that would be kind of fun.
Mm.
And then my idea that I was thinking is that I think this would be really hard, but I think it'd be kind of fun, is if you could choose a specific card type to have a specific role.
Mm-hmm.
That way when you cast it with Possibility Storm, you still get that role.
Yeah,
like,
it makes it more of a toolbox.
All of my artifacts. Yeah, like all of my artifacts are only mana ramp. Like I only have mana ramp artifacts. So anytime I cast an artifact, it doesn't matter. Like I'm gonna just flip it and I'm gonna get a different one that does the same thing. I thought that might be a kind of fun way to try to balance it out. And that works well with loot as well. Because he wants to see you have a lot of different permanent types out. And so, you know, it's like I chose all the planeswalkers that have card draw ability. And there's actually a lot of red planeswalkers where they have an uptick ability that's like exile the top 2 cards of your library. You can play 1 this turn. And so those actually work pretty well with Possibility Storm as well. So you could even do like that makes you go into all the different random card types. Just so that you can like get as much value out of loot. And then you could also assign specific roles to each card type. I think that could be actually really fun to do, but it would be hard, but I think it would be really cool.
Yeah. The other.
If you don't build this deck, I'm going to build it.
Okay. Okay. I mean,
So I'm running
fair.
Possibility Storm, I guess.
So we're
No,
all doing it.
I'm just kidding. Go for it.
What's it called? The other commander I looked at was a Vile Smasher the Fierce. He's a partner commander, so I was also going to do a Yoshimaru, Never Faithful, obviously. And this was leaning a little bit more on the cast triggers of basically Vile Smasher. You know, he does damage when I cast the thing. It's the first spell specifically, but you know, it does random little damage, which helps kind of like, okay, how do I actually plan on winning the game? At least this is getting chip damage in. And then Yoshimaru is, what's it called? Getting buffed, right? Is that what he does? Let me look.
So this actually I do have a question with Possibility Storm. Ren, you might know the answer. Does Possibility Storm, does it essentially counter any cast triggers? Like if you have a card that triggers something on cast, like when you cast the spell, do you still get that effect, or does Possibility Storm negate that?
What do you mean? So if you cast a spell...
the big example is always the Eldrazi, right? That's the whole thing with the Eldrazi, is that like Kozilek the Great Distortion has, whenever you cast this spell, if you have fewer than 7 cards in hand, draw cards equal to the difference. Now that's really specifically a cast trigger.
Yeah. Is the spell cast?
Yeah, because you can cast it and then have the spell countered, but you still get the cast trigger. So that's what I'm wondering is, like, if you were to cast a Kozilek with a Possibility Storm, would you discard your hand, or would you draw cards equal to the difference?
Yes.
Or would you not? Like, you would?
Yes.
Okay.
The cast. All that needs to be seen is the cast itself. So
that was kind of what I was thinking too, but it says no, it is whenever they cast a spell. So yeah. Okay, so that's another thing you could think about then too, is just run, like, make sure you load your deck with cast triggers, and then you kind of get to double up on
I could do that. My only problem is in the name, Possibility Storm. You could build a Stormy deck, but I kind of don't want to do Storm. But I think there's a clear route that's pretty simple of going Storm and kind of going insane with Storm. Mm-hmm. Especially with that. And I think Cascade is like an additional trigger, so you do like Cascade.
Yeah, I think Cascade is a cast trigger as well. Let me find something with Cascade on it really quick. So, yeah, Possibility Storm's interesting too, because it says, like, you cast it and then you exile it, and then it says you may cast the new one, so you can essentially get 2 cast triggers for one. Yeah. I actually do really like that with Vile Smasher as well, because if you have Possibility Storm and Vile Smasher, you just get double, like, you're going to get 2 triggers on him every time.
Yeah, so
potentially 2 really big triggers.
So that was the kind of options, but the reason why I'm still leaning on...
Oh no, because he's first spell.
He's only the first spell, but there's others that are like that. Like it gets that kind of rule of like, okay, every single time you cast, it procs and you get this effect. And so you could either do that through either damage or just value gaining through that, which is what I kind of like with Rocco, because it's a little bit more on the safe side of like, hey, I get a 1/1 counter, so honestly, I could just make Rocco into a Voltron commander through that, / I'm getting food tokens, so I have a clear way to heal myself and sustain through this shenanigan. And kind of the same thing as you mentioned of this like... of loot, kind of getting this exile draw, is I'll still keep getting at the beginning of my turn, get that exile draw. I mean, everybody does. So it kind of makes it feel a little bit fair for everybody, which is kind of the downside why, like, normally for these type of things, if I have this, like, win con thing, I would need to get, like, protection. So, like, hexproof stuff and stuff like that to save Possibility Storm. But I think I would rather lean on recursion and just like, you know what, if my players are gonna try to remove it, that's fine, I'll just bring it back. I mean, they're gonna have to go through the mental damage of like, okay, even with Possibility Storm out, it's like, all right, let me try to fish out a removal spell and just, you know, see what happens.
I think this is gonna be a fun deck,
but
actually.
Yeah,
I hate to admit it.
I just need to figure out the curve of, because I do want to do that RNG of like, okay, I have low cost things to possibly roll into high cost things like, you know, Eldrazi, you know, big creatures. Again, I think I do want to lean away from Storm, even though I think that's a clear good route to possibly go in. I think another dude I looked at was, what's his name? As a potential commander was obviously like, Prosper Tomebound, because whenever you play a card from exile, you get a treasure token, so it just gives me more, more mana to work with
just more
to
value.
play more things. But I've already seen people play that card, so that made me like, nope, I don't want to play it. And there's some other things like that. So I don't know. I haven't seen people. I at least haven't seen it get played yet, even though it's not like it's a low tier deck at all. But so that's kind of why I'm favoring Rocco Street Chef. It's just like it affects everybody in a way that's technically not necessarily bad. Like everybody gets a card they get to play with, which means maybe they don't remove my dude, but they probably will. I don't have to Voltron Rocco if I don't want to. I could just like cheat out big stompy stuff and just go shenanigans that way. But yeah.
Well, it is.
And I still have green,
one
so I can
counter on
ramp
target
if I want
creature.
Yeah.
You do get to put the 1/1 counter on target creature, so you could also do that as like a. I mean, hey, I'll put 1/1 creatures on, or I'll put 1/1 counters on that if you swing it at somebody else. That could be kind of fun to go into as well if you want to go on like buffing up other people's stuff with 1/1 counters. There's that. Actually, you know what? You run this enchantment background, the one that says at the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent can put 2 1/1 counters on a creature, but then that creature can't attack you.
Oh, the white one.
Yeah, it gives me protection.
Well,
it doesn't. Say
yeah,
attack.
what is that called? Is that Noble Heritage?
Noble Heritage.
I think so. Yes. Yeah.
You could run like Noble Heritage in here.
Yeah, because
I don't know how many other cards there is like that, but I'm just thinking that might be kind of a fun. Like you're just gonna buff up other people's creatures and encourage them to swing at each other, like a group hug, kind of like and you have red, so you could do group hug like Goad. I think Goad is really fun.
But yeah,
I think it's a very underused mechanic.
I think what I'll try to do, similar to what you were saying with Loot, of like making your different card types kind of separate so you can kind of have a toolbox so you know what you're going to do. I think I'm planning on doing that with Possibility Storm so that it's not like completely random. I have an idea what I'm going to run into. So it's like, oh, for my instant sorcery, it's like, okay, I kind of know I have a bunch of tutors, but also maybe I have a few, like I have either just these two types of spells in this card type, so I can kind of fish for either or. I think it's going to be a good game plan for it too. So like I could easily go down like a very heavy enchantment route and just go a lot of small like costs, like Noble Heritage is only 2 costs enchantment, and try to look for those really low cost things for like this big powerful enchantment that might have a massive effect or whatever, and vice versa with the creatures, just like very low cost creatures to potentially high cost creatures. I mean, you could even
I think it would be fun too to just like, I think for creatures, if you really want to maximize
just
your
have
value,
2 creatures
and you're
besides
in
commander,
you're in green and red. I was gonna say get a bunch of creatures with Cascade and Discover.
Yeah,
there's a lot of green and red creatures, or you could do colorless. There's like Maelstrom Wanderer, so because it's a cast, like with Possibility Storm, you do still cast it, and so then it's like you could. I mean, the perfect situation is you cast like a 1 or 2 mana creature, gets exiled with Possibility Storm, and then you get a creature with Cascade, and then you cascade into another creature. Like you go 1 2 cost creature for 2 big guys, and obviously that's being very like optimistic about it, but that could be kind of fun too.
I have a recommendation.
Okay.
If you're thinking Rocco is the tutor guy, right? The ex commander with that tutor something.
No, that is the other Rocco.
Which
Rocco Cabaretti
was gonna get suggested to me.
Yeah, Cabaretti Caterer.
Yeah, that's a good one for this. If you got the mana, I was thinking if you run that, you can like normally I'm like Possibility Storm doesn't bother me because it stops me from doing my things. Possibility Storm bothers me because people who aren't paying attention in games of paper magic make it last even longer. But since you're already playing one card that I'm going to be like, oh, this is going to become a bother, you could play Nevermore, and you could just be like, sorry, you can't play your Drannith Magistrate this game. So I think you can easily do some setup to make it so that my stacks doesn't really affect your game. Or you can just run a lot of removal, which is probably more in character.
All right. Do either of you guys have any more closing thoughts?
Nay.
Okay. Great. Well, I will be excited to see this next week. I'm really excited for Bear to be back and just see. I think we're gonna have 3 kind of ridiculous decks next week.
Nobody tell him about
I hope he
possibly
just
Storm.
is like. I hope that he just shows up and is like, yeah, I brought this precon, and then he has to sit through 90 minutes of the rest of us. So I'm really excited for next week. Noah, thank you for joining us. I appreciate you filling in.
Of course.
And you're going to be doing gameplay with us next week, right?
Yes. Yes, I like gaming.
Excellent. Ren, I'm glad you made it home safe and didn't hydroplane into a barrier.
Not this time, but there's always hope.
Alrighty. We will see you guys next week for gameplay testing. Goodbye.
All right.
Bye.
See you next week.